Cool. Awesome. Welcome aboard, bro. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. My name is Marques J. Burris. I am known as Marcus B Fit, on Instagram, and really it's just my whole slogan right now is literally I focus on health and wellness. Really, I'm a fitness coach, and I've been kind of doing this for some years, man. Actually, been kind of helping people out for the past over a decade, but more professionally in the context of online space the past 2 years or so. Been kind of growing my brand, the Boss Move Fitness, and just kind of helping people become, their better selves by learning about nutrition, fitness, and learning exactly how to lose body fat without spending a whole bunch of hours in the gym or cutting out a whole bunch of carbs. And really, it's been an amazing journey so far.
Fire, man. Cool. You want to get started with your story, where you're from, where you grew up, and all of that?
Yeah, man, for sure. So originally, I'm a Cali boy, man, from California, man. So originally, I was actually born in San Jose, and I think me and you discussed this before. And really interesting enough, I mean, I was born in San Jose, but then I moved, a few different places in California. One of them called Los Baños, which is like sort of the valley. It's like a small little town that nobody knows about. Los Baños is literally it means the bathrooms, all right, and it was like 30,000 people. So basically, it was a whole bunch of people who spoke a lot of Spanish. So I picked up a few different words here and there. But eventually, I transitioned to Stockton to finish out my high school years, and then later on, went to Chico State for college. But for the most part, man, I've been mostly in California most of my life. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey just to kind of, be here. I think California gets a bad rep, because it's so expensive and people don't like how liberal it can be. But at the same time, I wake up and it's February and it's not snowing outside. And, I get a chance to, be around my family and it's not too cold. And it's just, I don't know. It's a nice, happy medium. So I appreciate being here, man.
Absolutely. You're in the Sacramento area, right?
Yep. Currently, I'm in Sacramento. I've been here for about 6 years now. Yeah, it's been cool. Sacramento's quiet. It's probably one of the quiet, sleepy towns of California, even though it's the capital. So it's been cool, though, just to be here and just really start fresh in terms of being a young professional and really starting my own little thing. And growing here has been pretty amazing.
Absolutely. Are you on the suburbs of Sacramento, or are you actually in the city? Because I've only been there a handful of times.
You know what? It's interesting. I'm actually in I'm Midtown, right? So Midtown is like, I don't know, man, I'm like 5-6 minutes away from downtown. So this is where all the people who are younger and who are like single, ready to mingle, kind of hang out. And it was like the perfect place for me to be because, I'm not married, don't have any kids. So I was able to kind of just, flourish being a part of a city. I want to be where everything was going on, where I can have access to everything. It's in the middle of everything. So it takes me 15 minutes to get to the south part, 15 minutes to get to north. And, I'm where everything is going on. So it's nice to be around this area for sure.
Beautiful. Cool, man. And I know personally, but what did you go to school for in Chino?
Oh, Chico. Yeah, Chico. So in Chico, man, I went to school for psychology. So psychology, man, I went to school for psychology just because, a few reasons. I think it kind of was easy to kind of understand why people did the things that they did, right? Understand behaviors of people and understand how exactly like the way people were brought up in society through their parents or through other situations that they went through, whether school, how they were raised, et cetera, right? All these things kind of apply to their life and how they came out the way they came out as an adult. And then how to speak to people, how to communicate with people. Like it kind of just dealt with everything that I was about because I was a really social person. I've always been more of a social person, I'd say. even though I'm secretly an introvert, I can definitely stand out too in terms of hold my own when I'm speaking as well.
Cool. So you graduated with a psychology degree?
Yeah, psychology degree, man. So long story short, psychology degree. My face is all looking all up. All right, so right, I graduated with a psychology degree, and it was crazy because it was interesting. Like I graduated, and I'm thinking, like, man, I'm about to have all the jobs in the world. You know, I'm young, I'm Black, educated, I'm ready to go take on the world. Man, I left, I had all these jobs, and nobody called me back. I was so dang mad. I was like, what? So what happened was this, I had to go back to San Jose, kicked it with my dad on the couch for about a year. But in that year, what I did was I actually started to substitute teach and like really like get involved with kids and stuff like that. And so that made me go back to school and apply to get my master's in education. And then that's exactly how I ended up in grad school. And I went to grad school for education in University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. And then education kind of panned out. I mean, that was cool, but the problem was, man, education doesn't pay any money. So I was just sitting there with a whole bunch of loans, and I was just straight broke. Like I was more broke as a young professional with a master's in education than the students that I was helping out who were actually transitioning from college, who were getting crazy offers from businesses and stuff like that. And I was like, something's wrong with that. So I was like, I have to get out. Like I was struggling the whole time. And I hated the snow, by the way. You know, no offense to anybody that's from Illinois, but I really hated the snow. Like it was tough. So eventually I transitioned to another occupation. I actually eventually got into HR. I went back to school, got my master's in HR, and you know, finished that degree in like a year and a half or something like that. And then that's what allowed me to get that degree. When I got that degree, that's what allowed me to transition back to California, because then that's when I got a job with PepsiCo. And that allowed me to actually go ahead and start my roots here in Sacramento. That's exactly the story in a nutshell.
Fire. Now, how did you get into fitness coaching? And then I don't know if you got into personal training at all, or if you just went straight online, but how did you get into all that?
Yeah, man, good question. So what happened was this. I've always been involved in fitness in some kind of capacity. Like it was literally my way of de-stressing. Like even when I was working, you know, in school or college or whatever, like I always went to the gym and stuff like that. And I wasn't like super knowledgeable about the nutrition part, but I knew exactly how to grow muscles, right? Like it was like, all right, I knew how to grow muscles, but I didn't really have the knowledge down nutrition. So what happened was when I was in grad school, I believe like on the cusp of grad school, my pops, he actually kind of came down with diabetes, and he came down with cancer, prostate cancer. And a lot of it was because of his nutrition. A lot of it was because of, you know, how he wasn't as active as he should have been. So when I went back to stay with him for some time, what happened was I actually helped him out. I helped him with nutrition, learned all I could, you know, books and reading up on everything. And then I also helped him out with working out. Like literally we went ahead and you know, man, went to the gym like crazy. And so eventually over a few years, what happened was he was actually able to, you know, be cured from he didn't have diabetes anymore. Like he didn't have to take any medication, no insulin shots, no nothing, because he took care of himself. And then also the cancer went away as well. So literally that was what triggered me to be like, hey, this is something I actually really like doing. I actually helped somebody out, someone who I cared about, someone who I care deeply about. Obviously, he's my only dad. And he's going to live a lot longer of a time because I was able to help him out. And so that kind of sparked an interest in me, like, hey, I want to do this more. And so I became more serious about, fitness, nutrition. And then over time, when I started to get more, consistent results, people just started to come to me, ask me questions all the time. And then eventually, man, I just kind of was like giving advice all the time. I was like, you know what? I should be getting paid for this, because I feel like I'm helping people out. They're getting results and I'm not getting any kind of compensation. And I don't feel like that's not right. Right. So what I did eventually was, I started to continue to study and start to, I utilized my background in education and just terms of learning, right, and understanding exactly how to teach people and educate people. So I used my master's in education, my background, to apply it to the love that I have for health, fitness, and nutrition, and helped other people to learn and adapt their lifestyles towards that avenue in terms of health and nutrition. So that's how I kind of connected the dots in terms of what was working. Eventually, a mentor, started to coach me in terms of how to take my, my physique, my personality online. And then all of a sudden, man, started to get clients online, and that's exactly how we connected.
Fire. It's awesome, man. It's really great stuff. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing, and you found your calling and what you really like to do, and you've been able to put all of the assets and education, skill sets, and everything to use with what you like to do.
Yeah, man, it's been an amazing journey. I'll say this though, it wasn't easy. Like, I think a lot of times what people believe, bro, is they believe that people who are in shape, they have an easy time getting in shape. And it's so far from the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's taken years. It's actually taken years to get to where I'm at right now. And you can't see me because my clothes are on. And I did that on purpose. All right. That means you got to look at my profile, Marques Be Fit, on Instagram, to see exactly what I've been putting in work for. All right. But I digress. So here's the deal. I'll never forget the times where people made fun of me, and which triggered something within me to take it to the next level. Like I told you, I always had the muscles in terms of like just working out. So people always say, hey, you have a decent physique. All right. But there was 2 situations that taught me that I needed to take it more seriously. And this was before I was even a fitness coach, right? It was one time I actually was getting ready to go to a trip to Brazil. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Brazil. I want to get in shape. I want to stun on everybody, because people in Brazil, man, what people in Brazil look like, on pictures and videos, right? So I'm like, oh, I gotta get in shape. So I went to the gym, saw one of the personal trainers there, and he was like, oh man, what are you working on? I was like, oh man, I'm trying to get in shape. I'm going to Brazil. And I said, yeah, I'm trying to get my 6-pack on, And he said, okay, lift up your shirt. So I lifted up my shirt, and he patted my stomach. He said, oh, okay. Yeah, man, you need to lose some pounds. And I was so shocked that he said that, because no one's ever direct anymore, right? I mean, in this generation, it feels like if you say anything bad, you're in trouble. So when he patted my stomach and said, yeah, you need to lose some weight. You need to lose about 15, 20 pounds, and your abs will start to show. And I was so shocked. But even though I was shocked for about 2 minutes, I promise you that situation motivated me to take it into full gear and make sure I never look back. And I bet you by within a few months, my 6-pack started to show, because I basically was able to go ahead and apply that feeling of just kind of like embarrassment, right, to what I wanted in life. And what I wanted was to be successful. And I wanted to make sure that I felt successful when I went to Brazil. It's a small little thing, but it could, my point is, you can find the smallest reason to change. And if you find the smallest reason to change, what will happen is this: everything else before that moment doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Like, all you need is just that one little push, and you can go ahead and be as successful as you want to be for the rest of your life. But if you don't do anything about it, that means you stay the exact same way. And the only thing that's wrong with that is your life is going to be filled with regret and a whole bunch of loss of time. And the one thing that we can never get back is time. So I started to apply these concepts and literally listen to motivation tapes and listen to speakers and listen to music that was literally feeding momentum towards my journey to become the best version of myself, physically, mentally, and emotionally, and even spiritually. And that's exactly how I came to be today.
Fire, bro. Fire. I forgot even what question I asked you, but I love that. What's one thing, I gotta end this in 4 minutes because I have another interview, but what is one thing that you would tell your younger self, if you could?
Don't be afraid to take chances. Take risks, man. Take the risks now, so therefore you can reap the rewards sooner. Like, I think some of the most successful people, what they've done is they've taken a lot of risks. And we've only seen the successes. But if you look at a lot of successful people, you can literally listen to their autobiographies. You can listen to their stories on YouTube. You can listen to a lot of people who failed a lot. And that's exactly what they did. They just failed a lot. So it's not about just being successful and just saying, hey, I didn't fail at all, because people who, I don't really know anybody that's done that. I don't know anybody that's been successful and never failed. It just doesn't happen. You can look at The Rock, you can look at Kevin Hart, you can look at all these famous people. And if you look at their stories, they failed a lot. A lot. The Rock was supposed to be a football player. Kevin Hart, soul playing was a flop, which steered him towards stand-up comedy. All right. So me, I failed so many different times in different professions. Like I said, I went and spent thousands of dollars in education to get a master's, to get a psychology degree, to get all these different things. Not saying it went to waste, just saying that I'm not in those professions now. And to me, it's very similar to failing, because you're not doing exactly what you thought you were going to be doing, right? But I don't look as failing in terms of a bad thing. I only just look at those as L's. And what I mean by L's, they're not losses, they're just lessons. So you want to have as many lessons as possible, so therefore you can become the better, stronger version of yourself as soon as possible. Because if not, then what you're doing is you're just kind of just sitting back and hoping for a miracle. And nobody's successful by a miracle. Nobody's successful overnight. It takes years and years of beating on your craft and going through a whole bunch of lessons so you can become the best version of yourself you can be. That's what I would tell my past self, for sure.
Fire. I think a lot of people are going to get value from that. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me Marques J. Burris. That's my name. Marques Burris. You can find me on Instagram, Marques B Fit, Marques B as in boy, FIT. You can also find me on YouTube. I just started a YouTube channel, so I'm getting started on that. Same thing, Marques B Fit. And TikTok, Marques B Fit, man. Just find me all the way down the line, Marques B Fit. That will be me. You know, I bring out a lot of content in terms of motivation, information in terms of, you know, what to do, you know, especially mindset wise. I feel like a lot of times there's a lot of information out there in terms of, like, you know, how to do a rep or a set and, you know, all these different exercises, which is great. But sometimes people don't really feel like even going to the gym. So first you got to figure out how to go, and making sure that you go, so therefore you can get in that mode, get that momentum going, and making sure you feel like, you know, you want to improve yourself. And let me take that back. I'm gonna say this. A lot of times your feelings don't matter. People who are successful, they don't focus on their feelings, they focus on the success. They focus on their actions. The most successful people, they're going to actually commit to as much action as possible, even when they don't feel like it. That's the difference between people who are successful in the gym, in business, in their life, and people who are not. The people who are not, they focus on their feelings in terms of what they feel like doing. And the people who are extremely successful, they don't care about how they feel. They just get it done. So whether you're in the gym trying to get it done, or you're in your business, or you're in your personal life, all you need to focus on is not the feelings, but just focus on the result that you want to come true, and making sure you're taking actions to make sure it happens. That's it.
Cool. Awesome, man. Appreciate you hopping on here and being part of the interview series. And we'll definitely stay connected, and everyone will check you out, man.
All right, cool, man. Appreciate you for having me.
Yep. Talk to you soon, bro.
Yes, sir.
Bye.